Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello. We hope you're doing fine. Welcome to our part 2 of how we met. So in the last video it was my turn to tell my story about how I met my beautiful wife, and now it's the part of my wife to tell her story. So enjoy and have fun.
Yeah, so guys, the long-awaited story is here. This is a very long story, but I'm going to start it somewhere else, back in Hamburg, where I studied, so that we can see how God was working in all this. So as you know, in the previous videos, we talked about, ourselves and how we came to Germany and all the stuff, and I told you that I studied in Hamburg. So when I was just writing my master thesis, I already got myself a job in Hamburg, which was God's blessing anyway. And so I didn't have to worry about visa issues and stuff like that. So I started working in this project, and it was a refugee project. Also, we were helping refugees to, integrate into the system and get some courses and so on and so forth. So that is what I was doing, and I was super excited about this because, master thesis is written. I'm here with a nice job that I like doing, and 2 months or 3 months down the line, things start to crumble down. So my boss comes to me and talked to me about working on Saturdays, and they had a cooperation partner who wanted some courses on Saturdays. And because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist and I was very active in church at that time in Hamburg, I could not allow my time to be taken on Saturday because I'm working. So I wanted to keep the Sabbath. I wanted to be there in church on Saturdays, and I said, no way, this is not going to happen. But I knew this was going to mean me losing my job if I say no, because I was the project coordinator. And so I prayed over it and asked God about it. But then inside me, I was having this peace in my heart that I do not want to do it. I don't want to work, and I don't want work to take my time for God. And so I decided to say no to this offer, and my boss was not happy about it, and we decided to dissolve the contract, and I said goodbye to them. And now I was standing there without a job. I was in Hamburg without a job. I was super excited about this job because I didn't have to worry about my visa or anything. Now here I was, I lost my job. I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills now after 3 or 4 months, because I was still fresh from school. And when you're a student in Germany, we don't have a lot of money. You don't save that much that is able to cater for the times that you're not working. And so I remember going back to the library and telling God, I want to start applying for jobs actively. And I would sit in that library, till midnight, and sending one application after the other, one application after the other. And I just told God that this is a really painful experience for me, but I want to know that you were in this, you were here with me. And so I had that peace in my heart, and before long, then I got an interview in a city called Frankfurt Oder. So me at that particular moment, I didn't know that there are 2 Frankfurts in Germany. So I called my cousin who lives in Frankfurt am Main. We have Frankfurt in Hessen, and we have Frankfurt Oder, which is way in the east. And I didn't know this, so I came to the wrong Frankfurt. I came to Frankfurt am Main. And so I arrived in Frankfurt, and it was a beautiful city. And I said, okay, it's still morning, so let me go and check where my interview will take place so that I don't get lost when I go for the interview. I'm this kind of person who, with the maps, I still get lost. With the GPS, I still get lost, so I needed to see the place that I was going to do an interview in before going home. So I went to a cyber cave, and in this cyber cave I saw an African guy, and I asked this African guy, could you please tell me where this address is? I want to go there and just check where my interview will be taking place. And the guy looked at me strangely and told me, you're in a wrong place. This is Frankfurt am Main. You're supposed to be going to Frankfurt Oder. The Frankfurt that you're supposed to go to is 6 hours away from here, 6 to 7 hours away. And I was like, wow. And so I was so discouraged, and I remember going to my cousin who was not living far away from Frankfurt, and I told my cousin, my God, I just made a huge mistake. Now I don't even know how I'll reach Frankfurt Oder, and I think this interview is I don't know how I'm going to make it to the interview, and I really need this job because my visa depends, you know, on me getting a job in Germany. Yeah, so I remember my cousin's wife telling me, Marina, God does not make mistakes, so it's okay that you're here. Just go and relax, and then we can talk after you sleep. And so I went to sleep, and when I was waking up, I had like new motivation. I told myself, okay, I've made a mistake, I'm here in the wrong place, but I'm trying to look for some other more job offers so that I can apply. And when I checked my emails, the interview that I was supposed to go to was cancelled. And yeah, and I just kept the words of my cousin's wife in my heart. God does not make mistakes. And so I lived with them for a while. They requested me, why don't you go back to Hamburg and, you know, cancel your house contract, everything, because you'll be paying money for the house and no one lives there, and just come and live with us when you still figure out the next step. And that is what I did. So I went back to Hamburg, and good enough, a friend of mine was also starting life as a student, so I could give her some of my stuff, and then I came back near to Rosasheim, that is near Frankfurt, you know. And so when I was living with them, they go to church on a Sunday. They go to an international church, a Pentecostal church. I remember going with them. So I would go to church on Saturday, but I also go to church with them on Sunday. And when they're practicing their praise and worship session, I would take care of the kids. I would make sure the kids are okay, you know. And I remember one day sitting in that church and just crying and telling God, I don't understand where my way is going to, you know. I don't understand how I've landed back to the square zero, you know. And I made a decision for you, God, you know. And I was crying, and the pastor saw me, you know, the pastor of this Pentecostal church saw me crying, and they came and started praying over my life. They put their hands on top of my head, and they started praying. And then the pastor stopped and asked me, Marina, why are you crying? Because what is happening to you is actually an answer to your prayer. God is answering your prayer. You told God to lock all the doors that are not meant for you and to open those which are meant for you. And this is exactly what is happening to you. And I looked at that pastor like, who told you about my prayer? You know, in my heart, I was like, okay, I know this pastor from my cousin. I know he's a very prayerful person, but who told him about my prayer, you know? But I'm this kind of person who I never discredit men of God. So I believed and said, okay, there's a man of God. And he told me, Marina, God is going to open a huge door for you here where you are. This is where God wants you. Your work in Hamburg is over. You know, you work for God in Hamburg, everything that you've done your best there. So this is the place that God needs you. And a huge door is going to open up for you in this place. And I believed and said amen, you know. And yeah, the church service was over. And I remember one day I had a dream that a huge door is opening, you know, and I knew this was it. This is exactly what the pastor was telling me about. God is opening a door here. And after that dream, I got a call from one of the places I had applied for, and they told me to come for an interview. So I went there, and I remember the guy didn't even have like an interview with me. He told me, this is your job. I've looked at your CV, I've looked at your qualifications and all that you've done before. This is your job. Do you want to see, do you want to see the place? Do you want to start today? And I was so surprised because I was, you know, I've been preparing for this interview, I've been praying, and I thought you're going to give your best. And then God just serves me that on a silver platter, like, here is the job for you. You know, it was a blessing. And so that is how I came to now to the city, which is not far away from where Raymond lives. Rosasheim and Butterboard is just 15 minutes drive. So that is how God brought me this sides. You know, it wasn't my plan, but it was God's way for me to come to this place, yeah, Hessen. And so, you know, I'm new, I've got a job now here, I want to start my own life. And so I started looking for a church, and I came across an international church, you know. And I think we went to this church before, but I didn't really know what their services, what they do, or how their services like go on, because what I visited in that church before with a friend of mine was a music Sabbath, I think so, and it was full, and other churches were coming also, you know, to this program. So I didn't actually know them that much, how their program looks like and so on. And so I decided I want to look for that same church on the internet. I wrote the pastor over Facebook, you know, in Facebook I wrote the pastor, and the pastor replied me and told me the direction, you know, of this church. So this is now the international church that I started attending, and I'm still attending till today, and that is the church that I met Raymond. So I started the story from way back, from God bringing me to Hessen, all the way from Hamburg, to tell you how God's ways are not our ways. So I lost my job and I lost stuff, and I thought completely, now I'm done, you know, I have to start from square zero. But then what I didn't know at the end is like God was planning for me to have a beautiful job here, a job that would pay me even more than what I was earning in Hamburg. At the same time, God was going to make me to meet my husband in the city that he just brought me, you know, it's in the city that, you know, the state that he just brought me. And that was for me a double miracle, which I look back and say, God's ways are not our ways. And anytime you lose something and you pray to God, just trust in his ways, because he's going to lead you to the right direction. Just the way he led Ruth, you know, to the field of Boaz, I believe that God led my way all the way from Hamburg to come here to meet the man that he meant, you know, he created for me to be my husband. So this is the first part of my story. This is how I landed in the international church, and I started serving in the church because I had a dream seeing myself serving in the church, and I believed God was calling me to start serving in the church. And so I met Raymond in that church, that international church. So God gave me a double blessing, a new home, a new job, a new place, and rewarded me also with a husband. In the part 2 of this video, we are going to talk about now how I really knew this was the man that God had in store for me. So I hope my story would inspire someone, and God bless you. And we going to record more series because my story is so long. I can't tell it in one video, it's so long. So I've just given you the part that I'm arriving in Hessen, and now keep on watching to see more of these stories and how God has been working in my life and his life. Okay, God bless you.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. See you guys. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.